Bit of a different background to start the video today. You'll see I'm sat here next to one of my big lovely Acers, and today I'm going to be giving it a good prune back, ready for the season. Now's a good time of year to do that, but I'm also going to see if I can get it out of this pot and into a smaller one, because it's about the size I want it now for staying as a bonsai. So yeah, we'll give it a prune and go from there. I always prune it first because that way it gives me more room to manoeuvre around it when I'm trying to get it out of the pot and work on the roots. But we've got some really long shoots from last year that I never cut back too far, because with bonsai, the longer you leave the shoots to grow, the quicker and thicker the trunk itself gets. So I'll be doing a bit of major hacking work to it, get rid of some of the really long shoots, and then we'll try and get it out of this pot and into a smaller one. Sorry I'm squinting, but I really can't see a thing, because as you can probably tell, it's an absolutely glorious day for the beginning of February. We're what are we today? It's nearly the middle of February, the 14th now. But yeah, so on that note, I'll snap back to you in a bizzle. Yeah, so this is a bit of a closer look at what I'm working with, but the things I need to chop back, if you follow this one, quite a thick twig or branch, should I say, all the way up. It's quite a long, and it crosses over as well, and I don't like that, so that one's going to go. And then basically all the rest of these really long shoots basically keep it back into the balls that it was intended. So yeah, I'm going to get all these pruned back now, and we'll come back again when it's time to get it out of the pot, and we'll have a look at the roots. So there we have it. As you can see, I've chopped off a fair whack, nothing major, but just pruned off all last year's dead branches, as you can see by like the dead ends and whatnot all over there, and then just reshaped it to how I want it. Now I see this is the front of the tree, get a lovely good view into the trunk, and then probably around there, and get a nice split into three with a lovely canopy. So that should look quite nice. It probably won't do as well this year as it did last year, because it's had obviously a very big prune just now, and I'm about to repot it. So let's see if I can get this out of the pot without damaging anything. So before I do that, I'm just going to sweep up all the trimmings, and then I've got my tray then to collect all the soil. So I'll snap back to you in a bizzle. Now that was a ball ache. No pun intended. That root ball did not want to come out. I don't know if you can see it very well. There, let's go around that side to where the sun isn't. Yeah, that was almost pot bound. That took some effort, but as you can see, it's now out, and it looks like we've got some absolutely fantastic roots to work with. So repotting it into a smaller pot should be quite easy. And now we've got one empty pot ready for something else. Not a bonsai, but got a plan for what I'm going to do with these pots afterwards. But yeah, job's a good one. Let's go get the saw and the rake and start having a look. Because this is such a big tree, or big bonsai, I'm not going to bother with the little bonsai tools, or we'll be here all day. So what I'm going to use is, first I want to find where the roots start. So using my little garden raking jigger, I'm just going to scrape away the top of the soil there until we find the major roots. And then if I need it to hack away at some of the soil, I've got my little mini garden pick, I suppose you'd call that. I don't know, but it comes in handy for doing this kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to use. And as I say, I'll just start. You want to try, at the very top, you want to try and damage as few roots as physically possible, because it's the top roots that will need the most. So to put it in a smaller pot, obviously the bottom section down here has got to go. So just seeing if there's oak it's been over soiled, if that makes sense, because as I said to you guys before, this is how I pick them up. and I bought them in these pots. Some nice Nabara roots on some of these. Got some really nice regrowth near the surface, so that's good news for repotting it into a small pot. Pretty much as of the topsoil as you're going to get. Look at that for a lovely root there. That's visible from the front of the tree as well, because that was the front that I said. Yeah. So it's quite nice. Could make quite a good feature out of that possibly. Right, so there's that done. I'm not going to completely bare root it and put new soil on it for now, because I've done a fair lot of work to it. I'm just going to leave it in that soil, maybe top it up a bit. Let me just grab one of the pots that we're going to try and fit this in. So this is what it's going in. So as you can see there, I've got a good somewhere between 4 and 6 inches that I need to take off that root ball to get it in that pot. So the easiest and quickest way to do so, don't just go ahead and do it, do check that you have plenty of roots at the top here for the tree to obviously survive. Now bear in mind, by doing something like this tree may not perform very well this year, because it's being hacked at, but the year afterwards it should be back to its normal self. So yeah, bear with me, I'm going to go and grab the saw and show you what I'm about to do. And there you can see all the lovely roots we've got. All I'm basically going to do, I'll try not to get in the way of the camera, but the angles are a bit funny. Let's put the camera around there. Yeah, you guys can still see that. So the first thing I'm going to do, excuse the vision of my butt, is just check with my pot how much I'm going to need to go for, which is quite a substantial cut, which is along here. What I'm going to do is support the tree at the trunk and just start cutting. Now you are going to go through some major roots through this. I need to do it yourselves. I think that was just gone through done, and we found another one. Could do with a bigger saw, to be honest. This is the biggest one of these I've ever had to do. But the vision I had when I bought these, obviously I bought them as garden potted trees, but my vision was to have them as bonsais. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. And we're just about through now, just gone through the last big root. And there we have it. So you can see probably in here, not any massive roots, but one there, and another one here. There's quite a large root, another one there and another one there. But if I can just turn this up towards the camera a second, you see there I still have plenty, absolutely plenty of roots for this. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to loosen up all the soil around the edge like so, just so I can add a bit of my own bonsai soil in the pot with it, just to allow the roots to grow healthy again next year, and just to detangle them a little bit basically, just so they can then grow and go the way they want to go. But I really don't want to damage too many of these, because I've just cut off almost half of them, well probably is half of the roots. Just where they've been wrapped around the pot, round and round and round, and just untangling them. Obviously some are going to snap off, some of the little thinner ones. But there is absolutely plenty here for this tree to survive, as long as it's looked after correctly, which, if you don't know how to look after an Acer, there's plenty of other videos on YouTube, and Google is your best friend. For a tree, Google the type of tree you've got, how to care for it, and you'll get hundreds and hundreds of results come up. A couple of roots in there. As you can see now, that lots of, I don't know where the camera's pointing, but yeah, you can see here now that loads of lovely roots all coming out of that root ball. So now is the time to see if we can get it in the pot. So broke a few branches trying to get it out of that previous pot. Might need to lose a tiny bit more soil, but we're almost there. Maybe another half an inch. Maybe a tad more than half an inch, maybe an inch. But yeah, I'm going to continue working on this root ball, just picking away like you just saw me doing, until I can fit it decently inside that pot. So I will snap back to you all in a bizzle. Right guys, we can almost fit it in the pot now. The only reason it can't go in the pot right now is because some of these what we call tap roots, and the tap roots are the really big thick ones that you can see here. Now I'm going to just quickly snip this off and then show you. Now tap roots are the least important when you can see where I sawed through it earlier, but tap roots on a tree are designed to keep the tree stable. That's what a taproot is for. It's these feeder roots, all these dangly little feeders that spread out. These are what feeds the tree. So these, when you're repotting, are the most important. So if you've got no feeder roots around the rest of the tree and they're all on the bottom of the taproot, don't cut it off. Repot it again in bonsai soil, same sort of size pot, and try and coax a lot of these feeder roots to come from further up the tree. And that's what you want to do before putting it in a smaller pot. But there is another couple of these tap roots in here that I found. They need to come off. Not as big, but just so we can get it in the pot. There's the other bigger one. That's what I was looking for. There's one more somewhere. Yeah. Tap roots you can cut off, no problem at all, as long as you've got plenty of feeder roots. And that should now fit very nicely, fingers crossed, into my bowl. Almost perfect. What do you reckon to that? That is pretty darn good. Perfect fit. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to scrape away a few of these top roots, because there's an awful lot of them there. And then once I've done that, we'll get some bonsai soil mixed in around, basically just around the edges and at the bottom, just so the roots can sort of spread out again. And then jobs are good on that one. So bear with me, I'll snap back to you in a bizzle. Just another little quick tip guys, and I've done what I wanted to do with the top of the tree now, but one thing you can use to block your holes off is plaster of scrim tape. It doesn't really biodegrade. It's a little bit sticky as well, so it does help to stick to the bottom of your pot. It just covers up the holes nicely at the bottom of your pot without losing all your soil. So just a little tip, I'm going to get that in now. There we go, so I've got some bonsai soil in the bottom of the pot. All I need to do now is get some bonsai soil in around the edge. Probably leave a tiny bit at the top as well. Now I've lost my scoop, I don't know where my scoop's gone, so I'm having to use this foxy little garden spade, but that's just about doing the job. All I basically do is chuck a good lump around the surface without trying to make as little mess as possible. One more. That's it. And then what I'm basically going to do is just using my little bonsai tools. I've got my chopstick and my mini spade. I just want to basically try and get every little gap down the sides done as we can. Obviously before you do this, make sure your tree is in the position you want at the right angle and everything, and then just poke all your roots and the soil down the sides. You can use your fingers to start off with as well, that does speed things up a bit. That fills in all the big gaps, just making sure all the roots are in and covered. mixing your fingers. Still taps that one. So once they're in, cover it all up with soil. So once they're all covered, you can then start poking away and just make sure that there's no air pockets. That's what you're trying to achieve with this. If you leave big air gaps in where the soil is, the roots where the air is will just die. You need to be able to suck in the moisture from the soil. And there's nothing worse leaving a big air gap right near the top of a root. That could end up killing that whole length of root then right here. You can just see that just completely disappearing, so there's not an awful lot of soil there, not a lot of air. So throw some more soil over and poke it again, make sure that's what you're looking for with your chopstick or your mini spade, whatever you're doing this with, even your finger if you don't have either or. I just find a little stick from the gun. Again, you can see here that it's just disappearing, which means there's quite a big air pocket there. So you get some more soil, poke it down in, a little bit of a firm as you go, and just poking it back into where you just push the soil into. It's just pushing it into every nook and cranny. Now this video, although so far it's probably only been about 15-16 minutes for you guys, I've been doing this tree, what's the time now? 2 o'clock, so I've been doing this tree for 2 hours. It's just a case of take your time, don't rush it. If you're taking your real time and the roots are starting to dry out, just sprinkle in with a tiny bit of water. You don't want them dripping, just dampen them off. There's that side then. Yeah, just a case. I mean, the pruning took me a good 45 minutes. You know, it's just one of those things that you don't want to rush. You want to get it right, because rushing something like this could end up killing it. And if I went to the shops to try and replace this tree, whew, I wouldn't like to think what they would charge in the shops for a tree like this. Hundreds of pounds. And you can see how thick that base is. Look. And at the very base, it's almost as thick as my whole fist. But I'm quite happy with how it's fitted in this pot. Spent ages looking for the right type of pot to use. But I need a bit more soil now. Although it looked like it was overfilled a minute ago. And you start poking it down into the holes, it soon disappears. On that side, on that side. Now if you're new to the channel, you're probably looking at this soil thinking, what on earth is this soil he's using? Well, this is my homemade bonsai soil. I did a video on this towards the end of last year, November time, and to those of you that aren't new to the channel, you'll remember I said back then was a good time to do it, so it's ready for the spring, for when I'm ready to repot any bonsais that need repotting. And here we are today. Okay, it's not spring just yet, but Acers are kind of important that need to be done just before they leaf, as I've said many a times. So yeah, I think a nice bit of moss would look good on there, especially in that gap. I don't know if you can quite see here, but a little gap under the root there can make quite a good feature out of that. I don't know whether to fill it in with soil or leave it open. I do like that I've exposed a bit more of the barley and the roots on these. They're quite nice roots, and there's another little one just growing here as well. That'll thicken up over the years and look really nice. But yeah, I think we're pretty much there. Can't feel any more air pockets. I'll just give it one more go round with the old chopstick, just to make sure that that's all firmed in. don't think I'm going to need to wire this tree, that's just bonus. There's a few ends just to make sure. By using a chopstick like this as well, just by poking it in and out, you can find and feel for your air gaps, but without majorly damaging any of the roots under the tree. It's why we do it. If you do come across any roots like this that are at the surface, you've got one of two options. Try and poke it back in, cut it off. And as you can see on that one, I cut it off. Got plenty of roots in there to keep the tree alive. And voila. I've snapped a few more branches by accident whilst I'm working on it, so I'll go round and pick off any dangly bits, cut off any dangly bits, and then we'll get it back in position. So we will catch you all in a bizzle. And there we have the first Acer, all potted, all beautiful, ready to go. It's just sat on its flat rock. Get some of that out of the way. See, it's sat on a rock just to lift it up so you can see it in all its glory when it blooms this spring. But what I'm going to do now is give it a good water in. So I've got my watering can ready. Now there is no feed in it for the time being. For the first couple of weeks it will just be normal water or pond water, and then come the spring, as it starts to leaf out, I'll then start feeding it. The best thing to feed your Acers with is a seaweed based fertilizer. They absolutely love and thrive on seaweed based fertilizers. If you rather than spending a fortune on bonsai fertilizer, get some seaweed fertilizer for your Acers. I'll show you the one I use. And that's what I use. As you can see there, Multi-Mite liquid seaweed organic fertilizer, and that is why my Acers always do so well, but not until the spring. And I bought that beginning of last spring, and as you can see, it's barely touched the surface. I've not even used an inch out of the bottle yet. If I hold it up high enough, you can see. Yeah, I think come about there, and it's only gone down a finger width basically. So yeah, if you want some Acer food, get yourself something like that. There you go. So we're well watered in, and as you can see, found a little bit of moss just to give it that sort of older and aged effect. Yeah, that's looking absolutely spot on, and from the viewing angle that'll do nicely. So now the sun's gone behind the house, we can see it much better. And while I was waiting, I got another one done. So just that one in the far corner to go, but they look a lot nicer. I mean, look at that for a bonsai, look. Oh. I think that one's my favourite so far, and to be honest I think that one's going to be better looking than that one. That one's more of just a plain canopy tree, broom style tree as they say. But yeah, both lovely, and hopefully they do absolutely well. I must admit the first one did have a lot better roots than what that one did, but that's still got plenty, so as long as I look after it, should be fine. But yeah, this is the root ball that came off the second one. All the roots on this one, or majority of the roots, were down the bottom, and that one had a shed load of stones in the bottom, which is really good to encourage root growth, and obviously your drainage and whatnot. But that's where all the roots ended up, and there wasn't many up top. But yeah, there was enough, so hopefully we're fine there, because that's one thing I don't want to be doing, killing them. But yeah, the fish are finally up off the bottom. They've been on the bottom the last few days because of how cold it's been. They're all now, feed me. Look at them. they must know the weather's changing, because the temperature hasn't gone up that much since the other day. I mean, it was 4 degrees yesterday in there. I did do a big water change yesterday, so that might have brought it up a tiny bit. And we're still 4 degrees today. So yeah, you're not having any fishies. Sorry, not having any. The wheat germ I use says down to 5 or 6 degrees, I think. Although normally, if they are looking this much, I do normally give them a little bit, but no, not until the weather tells me it's going to start warming up, because if I give you some, it'll probably freeze again tonight and you're not having any. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. They're looking really well though. Looking really well. Here's the little genuine shag. He's the only one that's been really sulky with this cold weather. The one with cart box, but you can't see him. Must be sulking somewhere. Let's go and look through the window. Yeah, there he is. Look, all on his Todd. Yeah, they've all been scraped. Not a single parasite on them. But he just don't want to join the party. But hey ho. He'll be fine as soon as it starts warming up. He was fine when it warmed up last week. But yeah, love this time of year and this time of day. It just really makes the colours pop just as the sun's setting. Let's see if we can get you under them. Already reused the first flower pot. That's one of my lemon trees that were covered up under the green thingies over there, but the frost got to this one a little bit, and it's looking a bit worse for wear, bless it. So I will see if I can bring that back to life. But it's got loads, some of the old soil that were on the old Acers. They use the same soil anyway, the old ericaceous soil. But I also added a specific type of soil that's especially for lemon trees as well. Can you hear that robin? I thought he was actually going to land on me while I was doing this. He was like that far away from me. I was kneeling down sorting this out, but yeah, I can hear him. But yeah, so I'll wrap it up here. I've got some tidying up to do now before we lose the light, because as you can see it's just gone over those houses again, so it's not going to be long. But yeah, so that's how I repot my Acers, and if you're subscribed along you will find out how good of a job I've done if or when they survive. So hit the subscribe button and you can follow the journey with me. You'd also be able to follow the journey when I repot all these hundreds of black pines. Say hundreds, it's just like 70. But yeah, so thank you all for watching. If you want to know how to make your own bonsai soil, check out that video there, and we will catch you all on the next one.